on leadership traits and skill. It is always very interesting when it comes to leadership, no? Right from our childhood, we have been seeing leaders. In our class itself, we would have seen class leaders. And then after growing little larger, we realize the importance of leadership at various walks of life. We see leaders from our own house, we see leaders in our own groups of friends, our own classes, then our own friends circle, relative circle. Then we get to know about political leaders, business leaders, academic leaders, and leaders at different levels, celebrities who become leaders. So how is that not everyone is becoming leader, and how is that only few are becoming leaders? And also on what characteristics they assume this leadership is what we are going to see. And can I have the rights to share the screen, Kavita?
Yes, sir. Vandana, I can stop sharing it.
Yeah.
Now we can share, sir. Please share it.
Right. Okay. Before proceeding further, I would like to hear few voices, about leadership. So, how many of you are aware of few leaders who come to your mind immediately? Can I have some voices? When I say leader, 1 or 2, 3 names come to your mind at once.
Subhash Chandra Bose.
Subhash Chandra Bose. Okay.
Narendra Modi.
Narendra Modi.
Atal
Okay.
Bihari Vajpayee.
Vajpayee. Fine. Okay. What did they do? No, for you to remember this much? Subhash Chandra Bose, you must be knowing definitely something at least, if not fully.
Sir, yes. Honestly speaking, he was the man who was instrumental for our freedom. He really worked hard, and he was one who worked very hard for the freedom of the country.
Exactly. Exactly. If Gandhi was on one side, fighting with his own ideologies for the freedom of non-violence. This side we have an aggressive leader like Subhash Chandra Bose. Well said. And somebody said Narendra Modi. Of course, everybody can say about him. Different views, of course. Let us not get into politics. At least as a leader, definitely you should have some thoughts about him. Can we listen?
He is a great influencer.
Okay. Yeah. Then
the way he used to address people, so people used to listen even if he is wrong. So he has that charisma.
Okay. So you are getting into the definitions of leadership. Very good. Well said. Then Atal Bihari Vajpayee, somebody said.
For me, he was very influential because of the way he conducted himself. It is very difficult for a leader to inspire as well as have an image across most of the forums of someone who holds himself, with high values. He lived his entire life. That's something which, for me, it's synonymous with great leadership, and he was one of those.
Wonderful. Well said. Very well said. Okay. So we understand that one thing is leadership have a great objective. Leader do have great objectives. They have characteristics, and they have their own style, and they have their own traits. Okay. So these are all few components I would like to touch upon in this session. Since many are there from different streams, I don't want to use too many management jargons here. So I'll be little plain and simple. If anybody is from management background, I think you should be very comfortable listening to this. And you may feel that I'm going a little too simple about it. Please bear with me. Fine. So today we are going to discuss about few leadership theories, understand what is the trait approach to leadership, behavioral theories, contingency theories, and implicit leadership theory, men and women in leadership, what it has got to do with managing teams and individuals. Then, of course, if time permits, I'll touch upon international aspects. Otherwise, we may not touch international aspects. Then ethical issues in leadership, definitely we'll look into it. Okay. So, are leaders born or made? This question goes on for ages together. The answer is both. Leaders are born and leaders are also made. A born leader comes with certain characteristics, and by virtue of these characteristics, he evolves, he emerges himself as a leader. He becomes an automatic choice. Now, if you have been thinking that some educational qualification is required for a leader, we have some thousands of leaders who have not got their formal educational background at all, but still managed to evolve as leaders by virtue of these characteristics. They are all born leaders. We know plenty of them. But there can also be leaders who can slowly, step by step, in a phased way, become or attain leadership by developing certain characteristics. So they are leaders made. Now, if leaders are only born, then there is no point in looking into the skills or trying to acquire the skills of leadership at all. If we say that leaders can also be made, then yes, there is every possibility that every individual can transform himself to be a leader. Now, what leaders do? Leaders influence, as somebody said rightly, leaders do influence more people. When they influence more people towards a common objective, they go as a team, then you call him as a leader. Then that quality, such of those qualities the person possesses is called leadership. Now, who are all required for somebody to become a leader? Obviously, the individual becomes leader. There are certain parties with full of leaders, and there are certain party with only one leader and still claim it as a party. And there are parties with one leader and all others are followers. So, who is a follower? Is it wrong to be a follower? Can I have some voices?
No.
Definitely
No,
not.
sir.
Yes. Nothing wrong in being a follower. What is wrong is being a blind follower. So being a blind follower is definitely not good for that individual, because he gets into the trap of becoming a sycophant. No, that's what happens over a period of time. He becomes a sycophant, and he says everything right for the leader. Fine. So a leader is one who influences and has followers and continues to have more and more followers under him. Okay. We can see two dimensions of leadership. One is he tries to influence and impact the behavior of another person. Suppose I am a leader in a team. No, irrespective of the individual's caliber, skills, attributes, characteristics, I get things done, whatever I wanted to get it done. No, so what I do, I affect their behavior. Whether they wanted to do it or not, I will see to that they have to do it. That is on one dimension. Another dimension is I will stand as an example for someone and be an inspiration for others, so that they follow me automatically. So the influencing type and the affecting type. So two dimensions of leadership are normally seen. And the second dimension you can see is that the individual not only influence, irrespective of the individuals who get influenced, accepts the modification that is required within themselves, and they immediately transform themselves to whatever influences the individual who stands as a leader wants the follower to make. So these are two dimensions of leadership you can always observe. Leaders, as I said earlier, there are different types of leaders or different streams of leader. We have formal organizational leaders who assume positions like CEOs, directors, managing director, chairman, whatnot. Then personal qualities, they become leaders by virtue of speech, communication, powerful orator, like Narendra Modi. He all said and done, he is a powerful orator. Mahatma Gandhi is a powerful orator. They have their own personal qualities, to really attract people, and people just went behind them because of their qualities. Then certain leaders emerge over a period of time, be it formal or informal groups. We will take formal groups. In a formal setup, how leaders emerge? You just have 10 people with a specific task. Okay. For example, I'll put it very simple. You just give a ground with full of bushes and thorns. Give them some tools to clean the ground. Allocate 10 people. You say that in 1 hour, this ground should be cleared of all these bushes and thorns and plants, unwanted things to be removed, and it should be plain and clean in, say, 1 hour or 30 minutes. Now, not that everyone will mind their business and keep doing it. You will not see that at all. Immediately, one person will try to guide the rest, by giving some ideas, by giving some directions. Then he will totally have control of rest of the 9 guys. Now, such people are emergent leaders. They just evolve out of their own characteristics, be it in a formal setup or in an informal setup. Informal setup, you just allow 5 guys to go for a movie. Suddenly one guy will say, we'll go to this movie. He will try to influence the rest of them and have the plans ready for going to that movie. And simply he becomes the leader and others will just follow whatever he says. They are all informal leaders. They are all very potential. And there are different levels of organizations. You can see the front line, mid-level, top level. At every level, you will have leaders. So depending upon the quantum or the enormity of objective at every level, leaders emerge or leaders assume their position. Now, there are 2 different terms normally we observe. One is management and another is leadership. So leadership, one who possesses qualities of leadership, we call it as a leader. Then one who possesses characteristics of management, we call him as manager. Is manager a leader or not? Why a manager should be called or shouldn't be called a leader? Can somebody say? Manager is a leader, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Manager is a leader.
No,
Okay.
sir.
Yes,
Why?
No,
because
sir.
to the most prosperous world,
He holds the responsibility of leading a team, sir.
yes,
A manager becomes leader. Then why we call him a manager? Why not leader?
Because he needs to manage the men and material under his control or
Okay.
authority.
Okay.
managing of human resources in a proper way.
Okay.
Excuse
Okay.
me, sir.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Sir, manager and leader are 2 different concepts. Manager is somebody who is doing the administration, which is given by the organization, whereas leadership is something which is influential in nature, which is from individual's point of view.
Well said. Very well said. Manager is someone who get things done, with others. They will have a very, very, very specific task, and they may not influence, but a leader born out of influence. He inspires, he influences everyone, he carries people with him, and he grows thereafter. Now, managers have very, very confined task. Leaders have varied task. There is no limitations for leaders. So leaders, managers can be leaders, but you can't call a leader as a manager. A leader is beyond any boundaries of what limited options a manager would have. Okay, so manager is controlled. Manager has a limitation of his own control within the organizations, whereas a leader will beyond levels, he'll try to influence and change everyone. A leader has a vision. Okay, he will pull everyone to whatever he visualizes. A common objective will be there. A leader will be very, very aggressive in taking everyone towards that common goal. Okay, a manager may have a structured approach, and he goes by rule. He goes by step-by-step process. Whereas a leader, by virtue of his own characteristics and attributes, he keeps marching. So when it comes to the external environment, what a leader does and what a manager does. Manager will be able to handle things when everything is under control and everything is just calm and stable. But a leader will be able to manage, lead, control, do everything to accomplish target, even in a very, very turbulent situation. You know what's happening in Afghanistan? Afghanistan, what happened? Somebody ran away. Somebody became leader. Now, how all these things happen? Somebody behaved like a manager. Somebody behaved like a leader. Let us not weigh the situation, but just look at the outcome of it. That's my point. Okay. Leadership is not something new. From time immemorial, we have seen leaders who have ruled the countries, different countries and different parts of the world. We have seen leaders who have conquered the world, very great extent. But still, the concept or theory of leadership started evolving since 1900, I should say. There were certain approaches or theories based on certain characteristics and attributes. So 1900, we had traits approaches that explained about leadership. And in 50s, behavioral theories evolved to explain leadership. Then at 60s, we have contingency theories, and it goes on and on. Different theories, the leadership traits are changing. If you just see the term leadership or the explanation given to leadership has been continuously changing, and it is undergoing still a lot of changing. Now we are facing a different environment, given the pandemic situation. Do you think the leadership definition will further undergo changes? Friends, can I have some voices? What this pandemic has done to us?
Made us more resilient.
Okay.
A lot of self-realization of our
Yes.
limitations.
Very well said. Then,
Made
So
us
it is also
yes, please. No, go ahead.
so we have taken the challenge to explore things by ourselves, at the same time making sure other people are also growing with us, which wouldn't have really happened. So now it's like we are making sure others are also progressing along with us when we say this when we are this digital divide and all, we make sure that others are also growing. So that's the best thing I've seen with this pandemic.
Okay, see, the personal influence, no, has become virtual influence now. There is no team. You just see everyone is an individual. They are all attached to some gadget, and still you can see there is a team effort. Leadership is still there, and execution do happen. And we see things are just as it is otherwise. In many of the areas, we can say. Of course, we do miss the personal presence and interpersonal involvement. But still, one thing is very clear, that the concept called leadership is very, very powerful. It's beyond the physical influence and physical attraction. It has got many things to do beyond being physical, is what we have definitely realized. Okay, we will see the traits. Before going to traits, I think you all must be aware of different leadership styles. Can anybody list out the leadership styles that you're aware of?
Autocratic,
So, autocratic,
democratic, and laissez-faire.
Laissez-faire, fine. Okay. Autocrat.
Participative.
Who
Participative.
Okay. They're all subdivisions.
Yeah,
Yeah, subdivisions. Okay. Who is an autocrat? Who is an autocrat?
Somebody who gives orders and instruction and does not listen to others.
the Adolf Hitler.
Somebody.
Okay, Hitler is a typical example. What he does, what he did rather.
Dictatorship.
Not only dictated, it is all about decision making. Is it not? Leadership is all about decision making. Who made all the decisions?
In autocrat, only leader will take decisions.
All decisions on his own ideas. Okay, purely centralized. There is no consultation with anybody. Doesn't entertain any suggestions or initiatives from subordinates or anyone given a situation. And what it will lead to? It will lead to too much of dependence on the individual. Those who revolt, no, certainly they are flushed off. Revolters are flushed out, and the team will be comfortable, or the leader will be comfortable, as long as the leader has people who are willing to listen, put down their head, listen to whatever the leader says. You call it as autocratic or authoritarian leader. So this is one. And next one, as you all said, democratic leader, democratic style, which allows participative. Somebody said no, participative leader. So a dimension where democratic style allows others' opinions, room for others, others' idea, and decision making becomes collective. Everyone's point is well taken. So you call it as consultative on one side, where the process of execution or decision takes shape based on consultations with everyone, or is persuasive. No, even the leader wants to emphasize certain points he makes. He doesn't say that, yes, you have to follow, this is my point. No, he doesn't do that. He continuously puts forward, persuades everyone, no, convinces them to follow what he says. They are called persuasive leaders. They are also part of democratic style of leadership only. You cannot call them as different. Then laissez-faire or what you call as free rein style. Who is a free rein style? Free rein who normally doesn't come out with anything of his own. He'll create a situation, and he would want everyone to just go free hand deciding their own policies and methods and their own points and ideas. He will not really intervene at all at any level. Finally, he will allow the decision to be taken by everyone and simply stays away. Now, this will be successful if the group is very good, the team is very good. Otherwise, free reign will have chaos. This will lead to chaos. I hope you understand now how chaotic it will be. A free reign style doesn't have a good team to follow. Now, all this has got a lot to do with what kind of emphasis the leadership or the leader would want. Would he want task or would he want to emphasize on task, or would he want to emphasize on people? So based on these things, the leadership's success depends. Now we will see what is trait approach to leadership. It's purely based on the physical attributes and psychological characteristics. If somebody is task oriented, what can I say? I'm strong. I have a strong desire for accomplishments. Whatever I want, I have a very, very strong drive for accomplishments. Now, such persons would really be very creative. They will be intelligent. They will have all the initiatives and have high tolerance level. Okay, such type of attributes will be normally seen in such type of leaders. So these are all some of the traits they have. Physically, they'll be strong, look powerful. Socially, they will be very, very communicative. They maintain a high dignity and status. And if you look at their personality, they will be just oozing with self-confidence and very, very intelligent, basically, in nature. So this is what the leadership is explained as per trait approaches. So as I said, the trait approach will have certain traits for considerations: intelligence, dominance, self-confidence, high energy level, totally accomplishment oriented or task oriented, highly knowledgeable. And they will have the drive to really take the team, push through, and they will have better understanding of different situations, and they will know definitely what they are doing, and they will definitely influence everyone to move towards them. So can you give an example of these kinds of leaders whom you have seen? Maybe business leaders. We have seen enough, I think.
Dhirubhai Ambani.
Okay, Dhirubhai Ambani, very old. Recent times we have seen a lot of leaders.
JRD Tata.
He's
Mukesh
even more
Ambani.
older.
Mukesh Ambani.
Ambani. I said physical attributes also. Attractive, it should be attractive. And just.
JRD Tata.
73 students are with package.
Sorry.
80.5.
Sorry.
Next, we have award of appreciation.
Hello. Can I have some names for example?
Department of Applied Sciences, Chandigarh Engineering College, Bandra, in recognition of Best Researcher Award.
Sorry, I don't know. I'm not getting. Okay. Fine. We'll move to behavioral theories, this theory, leadership is explained based on behavior of an individual. Behaviors become observable actions. Somebody's leadership is based on the way an individual behaves or behaved in a given situation. So he inspires everyone through his behavior. Now, for example, one who slogs continuously, he influences others through his behavior. He becomes as a role model. He stands as an example for others. So their performance will definitely influence the followers to take him or consider him as role model. So this leadership style is purely based on behaviorals. There are two more complementary theories. Okay. Based on the behaviors, the dimensions of this behavior theory, as I said earlier, based on task, and one is based on people. So what is this task and people? First, have a look of this graph. This is created by Blake and Mountain grid, and this grid on y-axis explains about the leader's concern for people. Of course, at the bottom you have low, and at the 9.9, the concern for the individual is very high, which means the individual will really look the person as a human, and he will look into his problems first, then the task. On the x-axis, you have concern for production or task. Starts with 1, and the highest concern for production is 9. So the man at 9, nothing will be visible to him, but for the task or the accomplishment he gets into. Now you see 0.19, 0.11, then 0.99 and 0.91, and something in between 0.5 and 5. So at 1 and 1, the leader will have low concern for people as well as low concern for task. At 1.9, low concern for task, but high concern for people. Then 9.9, highly concerned for concerned about people as well as highly concerned about the task. Then at 9.1 level, highly concerned about task and very low concern for production. Okay, we will see how these things can be explained. As I said earlier, the task, the point where you have more concern for people and less concern for task will be always be concerned about his own relationship with people. He will try to have a better relationship with everyone. He will first look into their problems and will focus more on the people's side than on the task side. Okay, so they are of that nature.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I think your PPT is freezed. It is not moving. Your video is also freezed.
Okay. It's still a.
Yes, sir. Because you are showing some grid, but it is not. We are seeing only that behavioral theories.
Oh my God. So
Yeah.
I'll stop and again
Yeah,
share.
stop sharing and share it again, sir.
Now you are able to see this?
Yeah, it's loading.
It's coming. It's coming. It may take time.
think some net issue, so it's taking time to load.
Network issues. Now you are able to see this?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, it's saying started screen sharing. That's it. Screen it's not visible.
Still not visible.
No, sir.
So Shatrunjay wants to say something.
He raised his hand.
Yeah.
Shatrunjay, you want to say something? You have raised
No,
your
ma'am,
hand.
that's okay. By mistake. I'm fine.
Yeah, okay.
You're able to see the screen now?
No, no.
Okay, I'll
You may
stop.
you may refresh once.
Let me see. Now?
Yeah, it's fine, sir. You can just
Yes,
run the
yes.
slideshow.
Yes,
Right,
it's
right.
back now. We can see.
Yes.
Okay.
Now we
Yeah, it's fine.
Fine. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So I hope you all could see the PPTs or you were able to see when I showed this grade. Should I again repeat whatever I said with this?
Sir, I guess just one or two slides were missed. I think just go back a slide or two, maybe we'll be able to gauge. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we've covered this. This was all visible.
Okay.
Yeah, this is good enough, sir.
Fine. Okay. Okay. So the different style is being explained here, where you have the country club, where managers exhibit a high concern for people and building a very friendly environment. That means they are more people oriented and less concerned for task. So there, as I said earlier, they'll be very, very friendly, will look more into what people require rather than focusing more on the task. Then there is something called middle of the road management, where people have minimum focus for both people and the task. They are somewhere in between, this 5 and 5. So that is another style. They may not set high standards, or they may not have an aggressive performance being produced by them. Then you have the next type with authority complaints management, where these guys will have high concern for task and also emphasize on productivity. They are very aggressive. They take care of people as well as the task. It is very difficult to get people like this. They are into everything. They are highly creative, highly aggressive, and they will see to that everyone fall in line, everyone's problem is taken care, and everyone achieves their individual target as well. So this is that kind of leadership. And then you have this impoverished, who are very, very lazy. They neither have regard for people nor for the task. Normally, these kinds of people will exit very soon. If you have a sound management, active management, they will flush this type of people off. And team management is someone effective managers, and they both people and task, they maintain high performance standards. So is it moving now?
Yes, sir. Authority, compliance,
Yes,
management.
yes, sir. It is moving.
For
Yeah,
me, it
it's
is not
changing.
moving.
For you, it is not moving, sir.
Your video is
Start.
not coming, I think.
I think yes.
I'm stuck, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, your video is blank now. Isn't it, Kavita, Dr. Kavita?
Yes, yes.
I'm
It's
able
stuck.
to.
It's stuck.
It's stuck
I-
actually.
I'm able to see myself. I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
the slide changes we can see.
Okay. I'll just go ahead. Let me not waste time on it.
Yes, yes.
We will see contingency approach. Okay. Under contingency approach, we have different models. One is by Fiedler. So we will see what it is. So it all depends on the leadership is contingent on the type of leadership style to the right setting. The one can understand what kind of a leader based on his style and certain components based on situations. No, how he has evolved himself in different situations. That is why it is called as contingency theory approach. And in this Fiedler model, the style is fixed where he is task oriented or relationship oriented. For example, in an organization, if irrespective of the external environment, if someone focuses continuously on the task or someone focuses continuously on maintaining a better relationship, then that's what this whole Fiedler model explains. And it is based on certain assumptions as well. Particularly, the leader must fit into certain situations to accomplish. So they choose leaders who can fit in such situations, or they change the situation to make himself fit in the given setup. So these are the assumptions being made in the Fiedler model. And particularly the leadership style is fixed, and it is measured by least preferred co-worker, which means the kind of leadership will be, the performance will be measured by the co-worker, co-worker's response, to whatever the call the leader makes. So based on this, the performance of this leader is always assessed. So when it comes to other dimensions where with respect to leader-member relations, the success depends on the intensity of confidence the subordinates would have on the individual. However good the leader may be, if people lose confidence or they lose trust, then they may not be a successful leader at all. Then when it comes to task structure oriented affair, then much depends on to what extent the production is focused and the intensity of production evolves out of the functions of this leader becomes too prominent in this. This is second type. Third one is by virtue of position. Irrespective of the guy's style, the individual's style, depending on the position he assumes in a given structure. Probably in some of the government organizations, you can see, they assume this position power, whether they have the required characteristics or not. By virtue of position, they assume power. Such type of thing is also normally seen. Next is cognitive resource theory. This much depends on the kind of stress in a given situation, how the stress impacts the leader's decision making, going by the individual's response to stress. For example, what happened in Afghanistan? Afghanistan, the earlier leader who fled the situation is a typical example. What he did, he could not bear the stress. He may not be fit in there for a long time, and he did not have the resources also, and he did not have the expertise or intelligence really to tackle once the US power started withdrawing. And the US force started withdrawing, this fellow really fled the show and ran away. Okay, so much depends on how an individual manages stress and still puts a brave face and tackles a given situation. So understanding a situation is all about this cognitive resource theory. When you just assess based on the task and relationship, these types of leaders can change their behavior, and they wanted the followers to be more matured and go with them, and they would expect the followers also to understand the situation and take up responsibilities. So more of it will be like irrespective of their intelligence, they would expect the team to realize, understand knowledge, understand the given situation, and follow these people. That is one thing. This theory is based on one assumption that they can and should change their style, because if in a given stressful situation, how an autocratic leader behaves, how an democratic leader behaves becomes very, very significant. And so when we have such a situation, it is difficult to really expect the individual to come out of a situation and perform as a leader. So he needs to be trained in stressful situations to become a leader and have and carry the followers in his stride. Okay. I think we'll give a break. Kavita?
Yes, sir. Maybe for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, sir.
Yeah, we'll give for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
3 o'clock we'll resume back.
Yeah, we can have it like that. We need not leave the meeting. 10 minutes, maybe everyone can take a break.
Take a break and then get back.
3 o'clock we'll resume at 3.
What's muted?
Yeah. Okay. Before we move to the next slide, I would like to know if there is anything anybody wants to discuss about so far with whatever we have seen, the leadership traits or leadership style or whatever it is. The traits, all these traits, theories may be a little dry, but it is all for us to understand how this concept of leadership evolved over a period of time, and on how and on what basis the theories have been framed is what we are trying to understand. And also we are trying to understand whether the leadership as a concept is purely based on the task or based on the followers or the people, is what we are trying to understand through all these approaches. We have one or two traits theories to be followed, and then we will look into the attributes of the task and the people. Any questions you have now, as of now? Can we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
You can present it, sir. Yeah, fine.
Yes.
Visible? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So we'll move to the next theory. This is called situational leadership theory. This theory explains that the need for a leader's approach or supervision is much dependent on the kind of followers readiness we have. Suppose we might have experienced ourselves in some group assignments when we were students. Certain groups may not have the students who are willing to do the assignment given to us. They would just stay cool, and only one person will be doing all the job. So, or that person, who has all those attributes of a leader, would draw work from everyone, who will give instructions to every individual, force them, cajole them, and get things done. So that's what in simple this SLT explains. The need for leaders support much depends on the willingness or readiness of the followers to take up the assignment. So if the willingness is very low, the task required from the leader or the support required from the leader will be very high. Or if the willingness is very high or the readiness with the followers are very high, then there is not much required from the leaders in terms of rendering their support, is what this theory explains. Much depends on the followers mindset or approach, willingness, and also ability. So that's what this explains. Next is path goal theory. This talks more about the different kind of motivation, subordinates motivation, subordinates influence on motivation. Suppose when a leader is very communicative, and he has a team that doesn't follow his communication or doesn't want to follow the communication. However, the leader may be slogging, definitely the team will not be able to accomplish its goals. So the path goal theory suggests that every leader will have a different kind of behavior to have specific impact on the subordinates' motivation. Either they will see to that by going with them, working with them, helping them on their assignments, trying to give them inputs. They try to motivate them and do the assignment, or they will even use different kinds of forces, different types of motivation to get the job done. So much depends on how the team responds to motivation. So we can say that this theory depends on the subordinates characteristics on one side and the intensity of task or the nature of task. So the leader's behavior in motivating depends on the nature of subordinates they have and the nature of job or the task the team has. Now we will see different types of leaders' behaviors. First thing is directive leadership. Directive leadership, the word itself suggests that they give the direction. They are very communicative. They give the instruction to the team, like what is expected out of them and how to manage the show, how an assignment has to be taken individually and how it has to be done, what is the time frame required. So they give all the information required for a specific task. So the behavior here you see is that they are directive leaders. Okay, they really set clear standards of performance. No, they go by rules, they go by norms, and in fact, it is very easy to work under such types of leaders. Then you have supportive leadership. This is another kind of behavior where the name itself suggests what it is. The person who stands by the individual, the leader, so-called leader, he will be with the subordinate. He will try to rectify all the shortcomings committed by the individual, and he stands as a great support for the teammates. Okay, these kinds of leader will instill confidence in every individual in a team. They will see to that every subordinate understands what they are supposed to do, and they will have so much of confidence in these kinds of leader because they will always help these mates to do their job, and they will also be treated with dignity by this kind of leader. So this is supportive leadership behavior. Then you have participative leaders. Participative or very demonstrative in nature. Okay, they will not take any decision on their own. They will involve everyone. The word participative means any decision is being made by the suggestions, opinions, ideas given by every individuals. There will be participation in any group assignment from every individual in that group in taking up the task to be completed. They will see to that everyone's role is important and everyone's presence is meaningful in the group. So participative leadership behavior is always liked by the members, who will also realize that their potential is well recognized by the leader. Then you have another type called achievement oriented leader. So here also it is very suggestive that the leader will be totally achievement oriented, and whatever they say, whatever they do, everything will be towards achievement of goal. They may not really bother about the processes involved or what every individual does to reach the task. They will focus more on accomplishing. So These kinds of leaders will have high standards of excellence, will establish high standards of excellence, because they would want every individual to achieve their target. Okay, if you have heard about a marketing team, you know, the marketing head, how he would draw everyone to accomplish their task. He will divide the target to every individual, and his only assignment will be to see to that every individual accomplishes the objective. He will not really take as a team and all. He want the task to be completed. So he will expect everyone to perform and everyone to complete the task. So they will also demonstrate a high degree of confidence in subordinates' ability, and achieve any type of goals being given to them. Then now we will see, we saw the characteristics of leaders, behaviors of leaders. Now we'll see the characteristics of subordinates. See, sometimes the group culture itself totally changes if you have a strong set of team workers. No, a totally different culture evolves, and the leader has to behave accordingly in a given situation with the kind of subordinates he has. The ultimate findings in this is that the subordinates who are very strong will look for greater affiliation by the leader, and they would look for the hierarchy, roles and responsibilities very clearly devised, and they would have the locus of control among themselves, and they will realize what is their task, what they are supposed to do, and what is their ability to accomplish this task. So if this is what a team is all about, then a leader's job becomes much easier. Okay. So different types of leaders, how the subordinate characteristics will really change the leader's characters. So in if you have internal local, if your subordinates want internal locus of control, he allows them to make their own changes, requirements and modifications, so that they all achieve the objective. And if they have the external locus of control, then the leader would really cannot give any of the freedom to them and expect the team to achieve with the locus of control externally felt and realized. So this I finished. Okay, now we will see task characteristics. We saw subordinates characteristics, we saw leaders characteristics. Now we will see task characteristics. Task components, components are like what kind of task is being assigned to a subordinate is what this task characteristics explain. Is it a skillful task or semi-skilled task, or a task which doesn't require much of skill at all? Is determined by this. Then the organization's formal authority system, in the sense the hierarchy, much depends on the hierarchy, roles and responsibility, and who is the immediate main leader or the team management that controls the subordinates team. So depending on all these things, the task characteristics depends. So task situations require a leader's involvement when a situation is unclear and ambiguous. So when a situation is unclear and ambiguous, in the sense nobody knows what exactly they are supposed to do. Given that situation, it is the job of a leader to provide a proper structure and make things clear of what they are supposed to do every individually. The ambiguity has to be cleared by the leader. So the leader's role becomes more specific if the task looks unclear. Then highly repetitive. Suppose if the task looks too complex, no, then the leader's job becomes very significant, in the sense the leader has to be very supportive to the subordinate, motivate them, see to that their confidence level stays high, and continuously works in mentoring them so that the task is accomplished. Suppose you have a weak formal authority or a hierarchical system which is not very clear about the roles and responsibilities, then the leader needs to really help every individual. He has to specify what they are supposed to do, and the individuals' roles, rules and regulations, work requirements have to be very clearly laid by the leader in a weak formal authority system. Then when you have a non-supportive or a weak group norms where there is no guideline at all, and so a leader needs to bring the team together, have to take the team with him and assign roles and responsibilities for them to realize a specific task and accomplish it. Then what happens if the task has got plenty of obstacles? Normally, every task has its own obstacles, you understand, no? So what happens is these obstacles create uncertainties and frustrations. It reflects on the performance of individuals. So a leader's job becomes very crucial here also. What he is supposed to do, he is supposed to remove the obstacles rather than just leaving it into the hands of the subordinates. A good leader has to handle the issues by himself, remove the obstacles, or show the direction to see to that obstacles don't be a hindrance for them, or they are not constraints for them to accomplish. So they have to help the subordinates around them. And as the obstacles look stronger or bigger, the leaders' support or assistance have to be much higher. And at that situations, the subordinates expectations also will be too much, and a leader has to really get down to help them to accomplish the task. And this will lead to a better sense of job satisfaction for them. So a leader's job is always to see to that the subordinates achieve their goals. How do they achieve it? By guiding them in a right way, by directing them and mentoring them. As we always say, a leader is the one who shows the way, knows the way, and goes the way. So a leader has to be a role model, and whatever may be the kind of assignment that is given, irrespective of number of employees or teammates or persons in a group, every assignment the leader should have some idea to see to that the individual is helped when there is some obstacle, and individual is motivated when he feels little low, and they are always motivated by the leader by giving inputs as well as motivating him to accomplish. So leadership style or leadership traits or the behavioral traits what we have seen as of now is all to help the team to accomplish a given task that everyone should understand. Now, before going further, I would like to have some interaction. I think too much of a gap is now given between us. Can I have some views from others? Have you come across a situation by being a leader of a team and how we all managed the situation? Can I have some real-time experience from some of you? Friends, are you all there? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible.
You may also type in chat box, no issues. Any questions if you have, or you want to share, you can please share.
Okay, how important is resilience to a leader? Is it important trait of a leader? Of course, a leader got to be resilient because for the simple reason that every teammate will look upon the leader in a tough situation. No, so now we know how the pandemic has affected different people in different walks of life. Let us take, for example, a small industry. See, the environment is common, no pandemic and no business. So if the leader is totally bogged down, what the rest of the team is going to do? A leader is someone who finds a way to get rid of the situation, manage the situation, try to find alternative, and see to that they come out of the tough situations, and he gives confidence to rest of them. There are some good companies. I think a good example I can say is LG. LG really fought their way off. Last year, I remember they stood as an example for many of the industries. How they managed a tough situation, how the leader himself devised the financials in the organizations and really helped every employee to contribute to the extent that nobody felt let down or nobody felt that the situation has taken control over them. So because of this leadership, they could come back and raise now. Like this, resilience is very, very significant. And yes, that will really motivate the rest of the team. Being resilient is the characteristics of Indians, I should say, because we have seen enough of tough situations, and we are known for managing tough situations, irrespective of the government, irrespective of the administrative powers, irrespective of the leaders we have, irrespective of the constraints. People continue to fight and fight and fight and survive. So resilience is, yes, definitely a required of a trait. Can somebody share your experience? How you managed a given situation by being a leader? Maybe some of your behaviors would have helped a situation, or a tough situation, would have averted some obstacles in your life by your behavior, or you would have seen somebody who really helped you all out to get out of a tough situation, a crisis probably. The role of leaders will be realized only when there is a crisis. We have an interesting question. How do we handle an egoistic subordinate or an egoistic colleague? Okay. Okay, my understanding about the egoistic is like this. If you find someone who doesn't want him to be blamed for anything or even for his own mistakes, is so he has such a bloated ego, then knowing the individual, I would rather prefer to explain him the desired outcome rather than pointing out the mistakes the man has committed. That way, you can on one side even out his ego by not hurting him, and also at the same time you can explain him that what is expected out of him, rather than pointing out what mistakes he has done. That can be one approach. Other thing, some ego characters are like, they will say whatever they have done is right and there is no alternative at all. Now, as much as possible, we try to show the way, like, okay, this can be done in an alternative way, and be a role model to them at the maximum. Even if they don't fall in line, then it is their plight. It is their choice thereafter. Okay, I'm seeing another question. All will go well with a smile on face in a team with, yeah, obviously. It is always the rapport you develop and the way you conduct yourself in tough times, in handling crisis with people, how to manage people when they are not doing right is very, very important. The PR becomes very important. Yes. Any questions or anything you like to share? Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please go ahead.
Sir, while in a team, if you have a senior person and the junior is heading the department, then which type of leadership style we have to adopt, sir? Because you know about the senior person being in the department and not in the position. So the problem we are going to face.
Okay.
So how to
yeah, I will just try to relate a little about the ego components, which
yes.
just now we discussed. Your approach has to be task oriented rather than personal. First, to make him understand that there is nothing personal about the leader and the senior person, and also see to that his experience is given due respect and treated with dignity. And you should also explain to him that his role becomes very, very significant as a contributor. And also explain to that he has been looked by, he will be looked by others who are juniors, and others will learn from him. So this kind of ego boosting has to be done to such people. Seniors usually, when they are subordinates, when they are subordinates, and if they are egoistic, they have to be very, very carefully handled. Never hurt their sentiments, never hurt their, never say bad about their experience. Even their experience may not be of any use to us, but try to find out what the person is good about and assign such things to the individual rather than expecting them to be very innovative. Usually, these people will be very, very conventional in nature. And when you try to bring in changes, there will be resistance from them. So manage change, manage resistance to change better by not hurting them, not hurting their ignorance, and at the same time explaining them what is required, and also give some positive humors to them. You know what it is. Try to give them strokes, positive strokes to them. Say very appreciative about them, and say that you are fortunate to have senior people with experience in your team. Something like that you have to try, to manage.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, people management is definitely an art. A leader's success much depends on what kind of rapport he develops with every individual in a team. He may have good communication and all qualities, decision-making abilities. He may be very creative. Everything is fine. But if he has a very bad PR, then we cannot carry the team with him. So you should be a team man always. See, people always, though it may be a very school day example, they always show ant, for us to learn a lot of things. Ants are known for many things. Ants are very active. That's what we normally hear about ants. But ants are good planners. They are good team people. Ants are extremely disciplined. They go one after the other. Ants easily cross through the obstacles, and ants have a team effort. If they find something to be removed, you should see how as a team they function and move it. So that is how every individual should learn, from an ant. So whenever I think of a team effort, I always think of the ant's role. Definitely one ant should be guiding the others, or should be a lead to the rest. Even when you find swan flying, when a team of when a group of swans fly, they fly in that inverted V shape. The front one will always lead the team, and it takes rest and goes back. The next one gets into the middle and leads. So that is how I have read somewhere that even swans fly like that. Any more questions in the chat? Quick in communication, yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Sir, sometime I'm Dr. Kavita from Amity University, Noida. Thank you so much for giving such a wonderful part of leadership. I just want to know, sir, sometimes leaders, they're very insecure, and this is a big question which emerged mostly in the organization, that though they are leaders, but they are always insecure for creating a new dimensional leadership. So what would you suggest for the other people who are under the guidance of such leaders should be motivated, and how we should take up such leaders in our life?
See, when you have an insecure leader, it will be a hindrance in the sense we cannot be really creative at all. The first night falls on the person who is very creative. And I will put it this way: how to manage insecure leaders. First thing is give importance to them. Okay. Second thing is any idea, take it to him and ask him to contribute little, and see to that you make it as his idea. That way, your ideas will definitely be respected. At the same time, the insecure person will also feel that he has some contributions made in this, and so it becomes his idea. Okay, it's purely a psychological affair of managing such type of people. First thing is go to him, discuss with him, take his idea, try to give ownership to him for whatever you do, and then try to push the bigger agenda with you to see to that whatever you wanted to really accomplish is accomplished. It's very, very tough to have an insecure leader, in a team. Always you have to be with them. Don't try to do anything without informing him or bypassing him. Then you're at risk. Your role is at risk. Your assignment is at risk. He will definitely lose the opportunity, and you have to be very careful about it. I
Thank you.
hope
Thank you,
you,
sir. Thank you. Yeah,
answered.
I understood. Yeah, thank you.
Any more questions? Let's see the chat. Okay, if there are no questions, thank you all. Thanks for the opportunity, and thank you very much for your patient listening. I know that this is a tough session, and Vandana has given me this portion with theories. I try to manage with as many examples as possible. I see one more question, I think. Let me see what it is.
Yes. One more question from Mr. Kamal Pant.
What kind of leadership style you consider as the best? There cannot be a best leadership style, because much depends on a given situation. Suppose you have a team which is capable but not willing to do if an autonomy is given to them, then your leadership style has to be autocratic. If you have a very good team who have a lot of creativity, innovation, and willing to do, then allow them to do, be a participative leader, then you are a democratic leader. No, you try to give them. The leadership is not always inbuilt. Nowadays, no, the external environment has a big influence on the individuals. So depending on the situation, depending on the type of team and the type of assignments you are given, your leadership styles have to be modified here and there. How about with autocratic leader when our creativity is suppressed? It is always a tough stand with autocratic leader. But that is why I said, you have to submit yourself to that leader and see to that your creativity has major inputs from that person also. That way he will own that concept. If your objective is to take that idea and implement, then you have to little yield and allow the ownership to the other person, to the leader. Or if you want you to get the recognition, it's really going to be very, very tough, because with autocratic leader, getting recognition by being innovative is not possible mostly, because they would only expect you to follow whatever they say. That is why you throw this idea to them and make it their idea, so that the task is at least carried out, and automatically you will be the expert in it in carrying it out. So that way you get the recognition and the appreciation from the kind of leaders. Anything else is there? Books, I think I have given mostly with my own experience examples.
Gary Euclid's Leadership in Organizations is one book. Then you have Jim Collins' book is there. Good to Great. They are also level 5 leadership and all they discuss. There are so many books.
What about a situation when everyone in the team is competing to emerge as leaders and therefore lacking cohesiveness? What can be one's role in such teams? That's what happens in politics, no? In political parties, everyone wanted to be the leader. It happens, no? So there, the leader's role becomes very, very important, significant. A leader has to be very strong there, no? He has to manage the show. He has to cut short, like pruning the nails. You cannot totally remove it. At the same time, you cannot allow it to grow to harm others or harm self. So like pruning the nail, you have to keep it at levels, individuals, and see to that. Once again, the task becomes more important than individuals, is what a leader is supposed to do if everyone is very competitive. I think that's all from everyone. And so thank you, Vandana and Dr. Kavita, for a wonderful opportunity provided. I shared whatever I know and whatever I have experienced. And if you find it interesting and useful, I'm very glad about it. If you don't find it interesting, I'm very sorry for the disappointment. Next time, I promise that you will not be disappointed. Thank you so much. Over to Vandana.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a very excellent session, sir. You can even see from our chat also. I think participants have enjoyed it really. And you being a participator, you will be following only that style now, sir. So we as a faculty, we know your leadership style and your experience, I think really have shared that might have been useful to all the participants. Thank you so much, sir, for having act as a resource person for this program. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And participants, we have shared the feedback.
Thank you, sir.
You can just please fill it.
Some of the participants have asked your number, mail ID, maybe, sir, you can give it in the chat box so that if they want to communicate with you further, they can.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Participants?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you.
I have mentioned
Thank
a
you, sir.
few,
Thank you so much. Excellent session it was.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So you can,
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Kavita has shared the link, I guess.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so kindly give your feedback for the session that will be taken as attendance. And tomorrow morning, we have the session at 9:30 a.m. And again, Professor Balasubramanian will be taking. He has also written a book on leadership. He will be taking leadership and the challenges for leadership in today's environment. So not business environment, in generally, the challenges of leadership in today's changing times. So that will be the topic tomorrow that he's handled, and followed by Dr. Parmanandam. And in the afternoon, I'll be handling a session. So this is how it is lined up. If you have any other feedback that you would like, any suggestions, do put it in the feedback form. We will look into it.
Thank you, Dr. Vandana, for organizing these excellent sessions today.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
So hope all of you have filled the feedback form. All of you have got the link, right? Anybody missed
Yes,
it?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Submitted.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. So hope to see you all tomorrow morning by 9:25.
Tomorrow morning, 9:30.
Yeah, 9:25. Please join.
Yeah. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.
Hello,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yes.
Can you hear?
Yes,
Yes,
Subhashini.
Subhashini.
Ma'am, yeah. Ma'am, sometimes due to network, this chat box, that message goes in middle. So can you share that link, feedback link to mail also, please? We are continuously attending. Here it is raining in my network issue is there.
Okay. And Subhashini, again, I have shared it now. Can you just see that?
Just try filling it out now.
Yeah. We'll finish, then I'll stop meeting. Okay.
Yeah,
You just fill it. That is the reason I asked whether anybody missed it.
try to copy the link and paste it in a Word, and then you can fill it.
Morning session, have you filled in? Morning session, whether you had any issue? Have you filled in? I think she has some network.
Panna ma'am, just a question. Possible for you all to post the feedback link in the group WhatsApp as well? Facilitates a quick response. Just a thought.
That's
The
fine.
thing is that out of 198 participants, only 108 have, really attending the session. So if you put it in WhatsApp, then somehow, we don't know how many people have logged in, and then we'll have to cross check. So to avoid that issue only, we have putting in the chat. If suppose
No
in
problem.
case you don't get it personally, you can WhatsApp me. I will send you the feedback link.
Done, ma'am. I get your point. Thank you.
That is right. The PPTs will that I will share it in the group, as well as I will upload it in the portal. PPTs of all the sessions.
Ma'am, this is Akshay here.
Yes.
I couldn't get into this feedback link. Can you just kindly share it again? The morning also I had the same thing.
Morning link also we have shared it today in the chat box. Kavita, can you share? In case you miss it, you can message us personally, and we will share that in WhatsApp. But now you see, now if you could just log in the chat box, you can see the link.
Yeah, I took this link. What I'll do is I'll make a copy of it and I'll again open it through this Chrome. So morning link also I couldn't do it. I thought I could say it.
I shared it again. You can check it in the chat now.
Yeah.
Morning
Thank you,
session
ma'am.
is also there. You can just-
Few minutes. I'll just take a copy of it. For you.
Yeah, no problem. We'll wait. All others, if you have finished filling your feedback form, you can leave. Thank you all for joining us. We'll meet tomorrow.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, thank you. I took this link, both this link. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, I'll wait for 2-3 minutes. Anybody has missed the link? You can check it out.
Thank you, Dr. Vanna, Dr. Kavita. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Vandana, shall I end the meeting? I think all have done, right?
Yes.
Yeah. SAR's number. Somebody is asking for Director SAR's number, I think.
I'll message him.
Yeah. You know the number? I know. Wait, I'll type.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've given his number. Those who wanted to take it, Lalita ma'am, you can take it. Yeah, thank you all. So Dr. Vandana, I am ending the meeting. Okay.
Yeah.